How to revive Indian agriculture? It is very clear from the past experience that India's agriculture had frequent failures over the years, and its development has not been smooth and fast. Though it is the backbone of the country in terms of its livelihood, two major factors have affected Indian farmers. One is there has been a crash in the global commodity prices, and second, there has been a deficit rainfall for 2 years in a row now. Therefore, low agriculture growth also has affected the prospects of manufacturing and its services due to forward and backward linkages. Now let us see what are the possible strategies to boost Indian agriculture. There are two-pronged strategies that are required for Indian agriculture. One is the raising productivity and incomes of the farmers, and another is coping with the risks due to climate change and the crash in the commodity prices. Now let us see what are the measures needed in the budget to revive this agriculture sector. Of course, the one is the increase in the productivity. Now, this can be achieved. That is, increase in the productivity can be achieved through an emphasis on investment in infrastructure such as irrigation, rural roads, electricity. Public investment in rural infrastructure is a crucial private sector that does not invest in it. In this context, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchal Yojana, that is PMKSY, introduced by the current government, is a step in this right direction. There is a need for more funding for this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchal Yojana and the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, which go side by side. Now, apart from funding, the water use efficiency has to be increased. With better policies on watershed development, groundwater, and involvement of farmers in the management of irrigation systems. Further, the use of drip irrigation should be encouraged as it covers 10 times the area covered by usual flood irrigation. The main strategy should be to increase water productivity, that is, more crops per drop of water. Now, another important aspect is our Indian agriculture has to become climate resilient agriculture, that is CRA. To achieve this, three things are essential and they are highlighted here. One is the diversified cropping systems. It is because of the climate related risks. For example, the cultivation of pulses can be an important strategy for the climate resilient agriculture in India. As we know, pulses are legumes which improve the soil fertility when they are sown and cropped. India is deficient in the production of pulses and imports them from other countries, and as you all know, the prices of pulses have skyrocketed and is creating a havoc for the common man these days. Thus, the diversification of pulse cultivation can lead to win-win situation in terms of attaining self-sufficiency and also raising soil fertility. This is the International Year of Pulses. The budget should therefore give incentive for the cultivation of pulses, which are largely grown in rain-fed areas these days. A focus on pulses, therefore, should be to reduce food inflation. One more aspect is the crop insurance for risk mitigation in Indian agriculture. In this context, the recent introduction of Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana by the central government has been a good move, and one expects a higher allocation of funds under this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. There are many features in this new crop insurance scheme which makes it different from the earlier schemes. However, crop insurance has not succeeded in many countries. Lessons have to be learned from these failures. The budget should give emphasis to Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act along with it, because it has been useful for asset creation and drought proofing. Studies have shown a reduction in vulnerability due to the implementation of MG-Narega works and its resultant environmental benefits. Our Indian agriculture needs focus on the research and extension systems. Research can lead to the development of climate-resilient technologies, and the extension system will promote these technologies among the farmers. Research on adoption and mitigation should cover crops, livestock, fisheries, and natural resource management along with the real agriculture. Therefore, India should invest in research extension in agriculture, as technology movement is crucial for increasing productivity and conserving natural resources. It's obvious investing here gives a high returns. Another important aspect is the reforms in fertilizer subsidies. The reforms in the fertilizer sector are overdue, and subsidies will have to be directly given to the farmers. The budget should kickstart the reforms process in this area. The saved funds can be provided for investment in infrastructure like irrigation. Legalizing tenancy is another aspect in Indian agriculture, because it will lead to access to land for the rural population and also increase private investment in agriculture. All said and done, for farmers in India, unless the remunerative prices and development markets take place, it will not be successful. These are important for raising farmers' income. The government's plan to introduce a national agriculture market and an online platform for selling agricultural produce will help in securing better prices for the farmers. But much more is needed on the marketing front, using a value chain approach to connect the farmers to input and output markets. Along with this, what is important is the necessity to strengthen farmer-producer organizations. One issue is whether small and marginal farmers are benefiting from the farmers-producer organization has been there in the Indian agricultural scenario. Now, what are the lessons from the farmer-producer organizations like milk cooperatives, for example? Now, incentives will have to be given to the commodity-specific farmer-producer organizations, like in the case of milk cooperatives. For example, the farmer-producer organizations for pulses can be developed on a large scale. Finally, the agricultural credit. Every year, budgets announce a higher agricultural credit for farmers, and measures have to be taken to increase the formal credit to small and marginal farmers. The Reserve Bank of India Committee found that their access continues to remain limited over the years.